Hello, kindergarten, first and second graders. This is Mrs. Chernitza with your next library lesson. We have been talking about different genres, and we talked about the different genres of fiction. We talked about the different genres of nonfiction. Now, this week, we're going to talk a little bit more about nonfiction. We're actually going to talk about the different features or the different things that you can find in a nonfiction book to help you learn the information in the nonfiction book while you're reading it. Okay, so let's get started. So, identifying features of nonfiction text. So, we're going to learn all the good things that you can find in a nonfiction book. Learning intention. I can work with my teacher to identify nonfiction text features, and success is I can successfully complete a nonfiction text feature sorting activity. And it's going to be kind of like a matching activity. Okay, so let's review really quick the difference between fiction versus nonfiction, just so we can make sure that we understand.
Hey guys, it's your geeky library lady. Did you know that there are two kinds of books in every library? Yep, fiction and nonfiction. And it is up to us to find out about them so we can find books that we like and that we will read. Let's start with fiction. I love fiction. These are stories. All storybooks are fiction. These have characters, settings, and plot. You know, where events that happen. Fiction can make you laugh, and fiction can make you cry. Some people call fiction fake to help them remember. Look at this book. It is about a boy who goes on an adventure with a silver dragon. Is it fiction? Of course. The boy and the dragon are the characters. They are in a mystical valley, the setting, and they run into many creatures, the events. Wow, fiction is fabulous. So if you want a good story, find a fiction book. The other kind of book are not stories, but are instead full of facts and information. These are called nonfiction. To remember, people will say nonfiction is not fake. In fact, nonfiction is about real people, real places, and real things. Let's say you are trying to find information about penguins. Which is going to give you more facts? A story of a dancing penguin, or one that tells you about penguins' lives? Of course, the one about real penguins. You can tell because you see real penguins on the cover. But be careful. Some nonfiction books have illustrations instead of photographs. They still tell us facts, so they are nonfiction. So if you want to learn something new, try nonfiction. Remember, fictions are stories, and nonfiction is real information. Any questions?
Okay, guys, good job. So, how is nonfiction different from fiction? So, if we were listening to the video, nonfiction is real, not fake. So, N for not and fiction, fake. It's about facts. It's about information. It has real information about real people, places, and things. Now, fiction, those are stories. And for the F, you can think of fake. It's make believe. They have story elements, which we've learned about. They have characters. They have a setting where it takes place. They have a plot, which are the events in the story, the beginning, middle, and the end. It entertains you. Remember in the video, it said that it can make you happy or it can make you sad. So that's the difference between nonfiction and fiction. Nonfiction is about real things, information you can learn, and fiction is fake. They are stories that are made up. Okay, good job, guys. All right, so here are some nonfiction text features, and we're going to listen to a video that are going to show these to you, but I just kind of want to give you the list of them really quick. The title, which I know fiction has it, but nonfiction has titles that tell the reader what the information is they're going to learn about. Most of them have table of contents, and it gives you sections of the book and what page they start on. Headings give you the main idea for that section of the book. So you might be reading about cats, and you might be reading about the section about the food that you feed cats. So it might say cat food, and that could be your heading. Also, bold print. So a lot of nonfiction books have bold printed words, words that are darker than the other ones. And those are words that you want to learn, that will help you also learn about more what you're reading about. Pictures. So you'll have a lot of real pictures and captions. It shows important objects or ideas in the book. And you might have charts that can help you understand a little bit more about what you're reading in the book. And a glossary. And the glossary is in the back of the book, and it gives the meanings of the bold print words. So the words that you see, and you're going to see all this in the video in just a minute. The book. It gives the meaning of the words. And an index. And what an index does is it actually will tell you the different things that you can find in the book and what page they're on. Okay, so let's take a look at our nonfiction text features. Okay, so here is the title. Here's an example of a title of a nonfiction book. It can be found on the cover, like this book here that has birds on it, or on the spine, which is the skinny side of the book. Or when you open it up, there might be a title page, which will also have the title of the book on it. There you go. So here is the cover. Here's the spine. And if you open the book, here's what they're calling the title page. And you will also find the title there, along with the author's name. Okay, remember the next one was table of contents. And if you remember Miss T saying it's at the beginning of the book, and see, it tells you all the things that you're going to read about in the book and gives you the page number they're going to start on. So in the first section of the book is called birds, and that's going to start on page 5. Then you're going to read about cactus wren, and that's going to start on page 6. Then you can read about road runners, and that'll start on page 9. And it keeps going. So it can tell you all the different types of birds that you can learn about and which page to go to learn about them. And that's in the front of the book, and it's called Table of Contents. Remember, one of them was heading. Remember, Miss T said, like, if you're reading a book about cats, you might be reading a section about cat food, so the heading might say cat food. Well, here, this heading is called birds. So remember in the table of contents that we just saw, the first thing you were going to read about was just titled birds. So here, when you turn the page, here is the page about birds. And it has the word birds up here at the top, and that's called a heading because it's at the top. Think about, where is your head on your body? It's on the top of your body. So that's where you're going to find the heading of a topic that you're reading about in a book. It's going to be at the top of the page. And also remember bold printed words. Miss T said those were going to be words in the book that were going to be darker than the rest of them. And it's dark words that it calls your attention to the word because they're important. So on this page, the heading is birds. And if you keep reading, here are some bold printed words: species and prey. And these are really important for you to learn and know about when you are learning about birds. And species means there's different types of birds. And prey is what the birds are hunting. So here you can see it says insects, spiders, or small animals. So birds can be predators, but they also have prey. They also have things that they eat. Whoop, hold on a minute. Let Miss T go back really quick. I wasn't fast enough. Okay, so if you remember, also one of the features of nonfiction are pictures. So it has real pictures. And the words that are underneath or beside a picture, those are called captions, and they describe the picture for you. So if you look here on this page, remember, birds was your heading, species and prey were your bold words, and now here's a picture of a bird, and right down here is the caption. The caption is the little set of sentences or words that describe that picture for you. And remember, one of our features was the glossary. Remember, Miss T said it was in the back of a nonfiction book. And that's where you'll find all the words that were bold print, that were darker than the rest of them. And it will tell you what those words mean. Okay, like a dictionary, it'll give you the meaning of the words so that you can understand what you're reading. And remember, one of the features was index. That's also in the back of the book. And remember, it gives you a list of the different topics or things that you are going to learn in the book, and gives you the page to go to learn about them. So here you might learn something about cactus in the bird book, and that's on page 9. You might be able to learn about hummingbirds, and you can go to page 19. Or owls, and you can go to page 14 to learn about owls. So this is also in the back of the book, and it just gives you the page numbers of the different places you can go to learn about these different topics about birds. And we'll go ahead and skip these because these were not on the list that I gave you earlier. But a timeline, you might find this more in like a history book, which is also a nonfiction informational book. And it just kind of gives you the time that different things happened. And it did talk about charts or tables. And this is what a chart or a table might look like inside a book. And it just helps you to be able to see the information that you're reading and learning about a little bit better, and it can kind of help you better understand it. And these are different things too that you'll learn a little bit later. Different things that you might find in a book that kind of tells you, about like websites or computers or different things like that. Okay, guys, good job. Okay, so here is a read aloud nonfiction book called Lions and Tigers. And we will stop throughout the book and look at the nonfiction text features that we just watched the video about and learned about. So, of course, on the front of it, you can see is the title, right? The title, Lions and Tigers.
Reading Pioneers is proud to present Lions and Tigers, written by Katie Pike.
Here is the table of contents, and it tells you lions and tigers. You'll learn about them starting on page 4. Family life of lions and tigers, you'll learn about on page 8. Grasslands or forests, you'll learn about on page 12. And the food that they eat, you'll learn about on page 14. So this is just like we're opening the book, except it's on the computer instead of right in front of us. So we saw the title. They opened up the book. You saw the title page. It had the title, Lions and Tigers. Then they turned the page again, and here's our table of contents. And it tells us what we can learn about and what page we can go to learn about it.
Lions and Tigers.
Okay, here is another nonfiction text feature. This was called the what? Think about it. It's at the top. What did we say is at the top, like on our bodies? It's the heading. So this is the heading for the section called Lions and Tigers.
Lions and tigers are big, wild cats. They are different, but they are both cats. How are lions and tigers the same? And how are they different? Here is the face of a lion and the face of a tiger. Look closely at the photos. What can you see? Lions have golden brown fur. Older male lions have large brown manes of fur. Female lions are smaller and have no mane.
Okay, so if you look on this page, you can see on page 6. Well, we have a picture. Remember, I talked about pictures. Well, we also have a bold printed word, right? We have a bold word. It's a word that is darker than the rest of them. And this is describing that male lions have large brown manes of fur. And that's what you will see here around the head and the face of the male lion. But there is another nonfiction text feature, bold words.
Tiger fur is marked with thick black stripes. Tigers can grow bigger than lions.
Okay, here we have another heading. So our second section of the book called Family Life. We also have pictures, and we also have 2 bold words, 2 words that are darker than the rest of them. So these are important words that they want us to learn about.
Family life. Lions are the only cats that live in groups. A group of lions is called a pride of lions. Tigers mostly live alone. They only get together for a few weeks to breed.
So that's pretty cool. So lions live in groups where tigers mostly live by themselves. So that's pretty cool. And a group of lions, since they usually live in groups, is called a pride. So the next time you're reading a book or you see something on television with a group of lions, you can tell someone that you learned that is called a pride of lions. Good job.
Lion cubs. A lioness gives birth to 2 to 5 cubs. The cubs have light spots on their fur. Tiger cubs. A female tiger gives birth to 3 or 4 cubs. Tiger cubs are born with stripes. The cubs stay with their mother until they are 2 years old. Grassland or forest.
And here we have another heading, another section, and we also have another bold word, bold print word.
Lions live in open grasslands where there are few trees. This is known as savanna. Tigers prefer to live in forests and jungles where there are many trees.
So that's pretty cool. So lions like to live out in the open grassland where you don't see a whole lot of trees. But the tigers like to live in the forests and jungles where there are a lot of trees. So that is a pretty cool difference.
Food. Lions hunt and eat animals. They mainly eat large animals such as antelope, zebra, buffalo, and deer. Tigers hunt and eat large animals too. They will also eat smaller animals such as fish, birds, and lizards.
That's pretty cool. Okay, awesome. So this is the end of the book. So in the back of the book, like you saw in the video that told us about the different things, the different nonfiction text features, here is the glossary. And here are the words, the bold print words from the book. Breed, which means to have babies. Mane, which is the long hair. Remember, that was what was around the head and the face of the male lion. A pride, which is a family group of lions. And savanna, which is a large grassy area with few trees. Remember, that's where the lions like to live. The tigers like to live like in jungles and forests. And remember the pride, lions like to live in groups, but the tigers usually live alone. So these are some pretty cool things that we learned. And here is the index. And this is where you can find different topics in the book. So the cubs, jungle, lions, mane, pride, and tigers. And these are the pages that you can go to learn about these different topics. So remember, the glossary is like a dictionary. It takes those bold printed words and gives you the definition. And then the index tells you the different topics in the book and what page you can go to learn about them.
Thank you everyone for reading along with us to this book, Lions and Tigers.
Okay, guys. Pretty cool. So I'm glad that you learned, or I hope that you learned more about nonfiction books and the different features that are in nonfiction books to help you learn, help you understand better when you're reading a nonfiction book. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to do a little matching activity. This is a little more practice. Okay, so we are going to take these text features, the words, and we are going to match them with their pictures. Okay, so let's take a look. Heading, and if you remember the word head, we said it was where? What part of your body is it on? Your head's on the top of your body. So the heading in a non-fiction book is going to be at the top of the page, right? And it's going to tell us about what we're getting ready to read about. So let's look. This does not look like a heading at the top of a page. This is under a picture, so we know that wouldn't be our heading. This is just a word describing the picture. But let's look here. Lions rule. It's at the top of the page, and it looks like it is telling us what we're going to read about. So it looks like it's telling us we're going to read about lions. And it's at the top of the page. So I think that our heading, oops, let's try this again here. There we go. So our heading, this is an example of our heading. It's at the top, it's in capital letters, and it tells us what we're getting ready to read. Okay, let's look. Label. Let's see if we can find a label. So a label is going to be something that it's telling us what the picture is. So let's look. So it's not this, because there's not really a word telling us what this picture is. It's not labeling a picture. And usually label, it's going to be a word that's going to tell us what the picture is. Okay, this is not a word. It's actually a sentence telling us about the picture. But look here. Here's the word house, and then there's an arrow pointing to the picture of a house. So what do you guys think? I think you're right. I think this is a label. The word house is a label telling us what this picture is. Okay, good job, guys. So label will go here to the house. All right, excellent. Good job. Okay, now we're looking for a map. Well, a lot of us know, because remember, some nonfiction books might have graphs and maps. Let's look. Well, this doesn't look like a map, because remember, a map kind of looks like something that'll have different places on it, and it'll tell you where different things are located. Well, this is just a picture of a dog, so we know that's not a map. Well, we already did these two. Let's go down here. This looks like a map, doesn't it? It looks like it's showing me different places and different ways I can get to those places. So you are right. That would be our map. Okay, good job, guys. All right, we have two more, graph and caption. Well, let's look. Well, if you remember from the video, the graphs, this looks like a bar graph, doesn't it? It's showing me information, but it's putting that information down on a piece of paper, and it's helping me understand. So this looks like it's a graph. It looks like it's a graph about different animals. And then it has numbers over here. So it's showing me how many of each animal there is. So that is going to be a graph. And you can find that in a nonfiction book also. Okay, good job. So our heading is here. It's at the top, Lions Rule, and it's telling us what we're getting ready to read about. A label, it's right here. It's a word that has an arrow pointing to the picture, telling us what that picture is. Then we have a map, and a lot of us have seen maps before. Maps have different places on them, and it also has different maybe lines, and it tells us how we can get to different places from where we're at. Then we have graphs, which take information from nonfiction books, and it kind of puts it in a picture to help us understand. And this graph is showing us different types of animals and how many of each animal there is. And our last one is caption. Remember, that was for a picture. And the caption is either, remember, usually underneath a picture in a nonfiction book or maybe next to a picture. And it's like a group of sentences, a sentence or more than one sentence that's telling us about the picture. It's describing the picture to us. And here we have a dog, and it says, the dog was tired after a long day at the park. So here is a sentence underneath the picture telling us about the picture. So that, whoops, sorry guys, did not mean to do that. Okay, hold on just a minute here. Okay, almost. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so the caption will be here. Remember the picture and a sentence underneath it or to the side of it describing the picture. So remember, that's the difference between a label and a caption. A label is going to be probably just one or two words telling us what the picture is. But a caption is a sentence. It's usually one or more sentences, not just telling us what the picture is, but describing the picture, like what's going on. So this caption is telling us why that dog looks so tired, why he looks so sleepy. Okay, guys, good job. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about nonfiction text features. So the next time that you look in a nonfiction book, you can point all of these things out to your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister. You can say, hey, look at all of this that I learned about nonfiction books, about titles and headings and pictures and labels for the pictures. Remember the bold printed words and how you can find out what those words mean. You can go to the glossary in the back of the book. All right, guys, good job. Well, remember until next time, follow directions, listen to your teachers and your parents, and get your homework done. And if you need anything, let Miss T know. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.